Well, hi everybody. Happy Monday. Well, it's happy for me because I'm off work on Mondays and get to play. So as promised, I'm going to do try to do a tutorial on the cold porcelain clay flowers. And it looks like I might have this wrapped up a little too well. And I'm curious to see because it's probably been a couple of months since I made this batch of clay. But it's wrapped up really well. Holy moly. So, it doesn't take much for these, and they are so easy. If you can roll them flatten a little ball of clay, you are good to go. So, I'm just taking a very, very little bit. Just rolling it in my hand. And I can never get them perfectly round. I don't know what's wrong with my hands. But I lay it down and I just smash it. And it doesn't have to be perfectly round because flowers aren't. Hi everybody, happy Monday. Well, it's happy for me because I'm off of work on Mondays, so I get to play. And as promised, I'm going to do the quick tutorial on the porcelain clay flowers. You'll have to excuse my hands. I've been playing with all kinds of stuff and I seem to be getting them stained so much in areas that I can't get it off. So, but these are super, super easy. If you can roll a ball and squish it down, then you can make these flowers. It's so easy. So you just need a tiny, tiny bit of the porcelain clay. So I went ahead and rolled out several balls. And I'm just going to take my finger and flatten them down in circles. You may want to do larger ones. I mean, you can make these any size you want them to be. So, I mean, it's all on what you want to do with it. I'm just going to squash these down a little bit and then start putting it together. And there's no rhyme or reason for the number of petals, but I seem to have a couple of, some variation in sizes here. So I'm going to take the smallest one to use for the center. And I'm just going to take the sides and roll them in toward the center. So you have something very easy. Now the one thing about this clay is that once it touches itself, it sticks very fast. So you do want to be fairly careful with the placement of your petals once you start to put them on. Okay, so I'm just taking a circle here and pinching it down at the bottom. And then I hope this will focus. There we go. Then I'm just taking my fingers and rolling the top of the petal back a little bit. So grab another circle. And I'm trying to do this. I'm actually looking at what you're seeing, so I'm not looking at it full front on like I normally would be if I were just doing it to do it. I probably should have done that a little bit closer, but I'll just put some in between the two on both sides. Okay, so pinching it together down at the bottom area. Oh, I think I put that down a little bit too low. Don't you love how when you're just doing something, you can just do it, but then when you're trying to show it, it decides to make itself complicated. Okay, so putting another circle on. curling it back a little bit. So that's what you have so far. Now I'm just going to add a couple more. Just so it doesn't look maybe as lopsided. Okay, and I'm getting kind of a stem down at the bottom. I'm going to pinch that off, which I didn't do the first time I made these, and then when I want to glue them on something or actually use them, I didn't have a flat bottom to work with. So just get a couple more on there. Just to balance it out a little bit more. And again, I mean, you can make these as big or as small as you want. And again, I mean, these petals are starting to fall a little bit, so I'm going to raise them up with my fingers before they stick too much to what's down below them, just to be able to get a little bit more dimension. Okay, and then you can take any kind of clay tool or what have you, and I just put a little dent in the center top of each petal, just to make it a little more petal-like, if that's a word. Oh, I'm getting way out of frame here. Sorry about that. And that's the general idea. Not perfect, but I was going kind of backwards too. I just squash down that center a little bit. So that gives you the general idea on that. And then for the lollipop flowers, I just did 3 circles in 3 different sizes. And again, just going to flatten it out. This is drying up a little bit on me. Okay, and then for the ruffled edge that I did before, I just took a tool. Don't remember which one I used, so I'm just going to use this. And I just put little dents into the edges. Again, I'm trying to move quickly here, so this may or may not come out. Okay, and then you take your bottom layer, and I cup it a little bit in my hand, and then I'll take the next layer and I'll set it in there and cup it a little bit more, and take the next layer, lay it in, and cup it a little bit more. And then you can go around and shape it however you want to. Again, I'm not looking at this full on. I'm looking at what's going into the camera, so that makes it a lot harder. So, and you can try to lift up the petals some more if you want to. Again, they're not perfect because I was trying to do them backwards, but that gives you the idea. If you can roll and flatten circles and put them together, then you can definitely do these. And you could put a center in the middle of that, some type of bling if you wanted to. And then something else that I did, I was watching the video that Trisha, Little Shabby Chic, had done on what June Angel Pews had sent her. And there were just some phenomenal crochet flowers in there. Oh my gosh. So I went out yesterday. I haven't crocheted in years, but I went out yesterday and got myself a book on crochet flowers and embellishments. Unfortunately, I picked up the wrong type of yarn to do this because it's basically a thick plush, almost like a chenille, but it was so soft. I loved it, but it was really hard to work with since I hadn't done it for so long. And it's a lot bigger. I used a large hook also, and I haven't trimmed off the edges yet. But let me see if I can take the zoom back some. It ended up being very large. So that's the back side, and because it was so large, I just plopped one of my flowy flowers on top of it. So there's definitely a lot of textures going on there. Got the nice soft fluffy chenille, and the chiffon, and the doily, and an old brooch in the center. Something that would work with the size of this flower. But oh my gosh, it's so soft. But yeah, I have to get some real yarn. Even though this was fun, I have to get some real yarn if I don't want to have ginormous flowers all the time. So, but that was fun. That was a lot of fun to play with, and I'm sure I'll be doing more of them. And I guess that's it for now. Hope y'all have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.